Well, I mean, I say it's really. I kind of consider myself pretty much of a calm person. I don't really allow too much to get to me. You know, very few attitudes, actions of people bother me
Right.
because I'm always, because of God, the grace of God, have allowed me to be able to think past the person
Right.
and really look at what's influencing you to react this way. What's behind your action that got you thinking this way, acting this way, or going this way.
Right.
And what is it that I can say to you that may help you rethink your position and go in a different direction? Because the direction that you're going in right now is really not healthy for someone who named the name of Christ. And it's difficult because, again, you don't want to be an offense
Right.
to people, but you also don't want to leave them in a bad state. So you have to know how to, in meekness, instruct those, as the scripture says, who oppose themselves,
Right.
who have been taken captive by Satan, which can act with an action, with an attitude, with a habit that they have, and they're not recognizing what's going on. And it takes a lot of wisdom and skill to be able to speak to a person and prayerfully believe or hope that God is going to release them from a thought pattern or from an action or an attitude that really is not good for believers
Right.
to be cut up. Now that's the place I'm at. But then when you listen to some ministers, and I give an example, you listen to First Baptist, if you listen to Pastor Jenkins, if you listen to Jenkins, I love the way he ministers the word. I love the way he called people out without calling their name. He's just
Sure
speaking
does.
about the sin or
Right,
the action or the attitude
Right.
that's not conducive to Christianity. You have to deal with that once you hear that.
You do.
Right.
You heard what the man of God said.
Exactly.
But that's at a different level than what I'm talking about.
Right.
That's not personal because it's to an audience,
Exactly.
and you have to know whether or not that shoe fits you or not,
Right.
and deal with it
Exactly.
because the word's going out.
Right.
And you don't have to be concerned with how you think or how you feel or how it's making you feel. Am I getting through to you? Am I really helping you?
Right.
So I'm putting it out there for all y'all,
Exactly.
whosoever.
Right.
Y'all heard this word, right? You hear what
Yeah.
God said. You don't like it. Y'all clubbing last night, and now you come up here and want to sing hallelujah.
Exactly.
You say things like that,
Right.
and on and on.
Yeah.
And I love that. But I also know, for me, because I'm more a one-on-one person, most of my conversations are one-on-one. I don't favor. That's not true. If I have to speak to an audience, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
But my eyeballs are mostly focused on individuals,
Exactly.
people.
Right.
When you see what they're doing, when you see where they are. Like my coworker, I'm believing God's going to deliver this man from this trouble that he's in. I've been to see him a number of times. I'm going to go see him this week before the week is out.
Right.
And he's way out there in his thinking. His mind is just messed up. But I know God's more than able to reach him
Right. Yes,
and bring him out of that place.
Yes.
But I also know there's wisdom involved in trying to or sharing with him. I know I can't do it,
Exactly.
but I know the desire to do it comes from God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The desire for me to even go there this week is not my desire. 'Cause I ain't trying to prove nothing.
Right.
I'm concerned about your soul, man, because you close to death door with the way you live in life, and when you come back, you need to be snatched out of that place.
Right.
See, so that's my desire to get you out of that place, and I didn't give myself this desire. This desire comes from God because it's God's desire. Like I think I said to you once before, when I was on my way over there to see him, and I was asking God about what to say to him and how he wanted to minister to him or speak to him or whatever. And I was saying, God, I'm going to see him. How about praise my own thoughts? And the Spirit of God led me to understand, you're not going to see him. I'm going to see him.
Right.
It was that
I'm
truth.
just using your body.
Right, it was that truth that look, you think it's you
Right.
just appearing before him. It's not you. It's the grace. It's my grace and mercy that's appearing before him to give him this opportunity to rethink his position. I'm gonna bring him out of that place. So I have to believe because I've asked God to give him life. I believe that God will give him life. Now, how God's going to do it, when he's going to do it, that ain't my business.
Exactly.
My business is to do what he tell me to do on a daily basis.
Exactly.
You know, right now, I need to be caught up right in the center of God's will, and that's the way I believe we need to walk out every day.
Mm-hmm.
You get up today because you don't have a clue what the day going to bring forth.
Right.
A lot of times it's pretty routine. Nothing seems to change a whole lot. But every day is not going to be the same.
No, it's not.
It's just not. One of the days, the day is not going to be like yesterday.
Right.
It's not.
It's not.
Some heck of a twist going to come up. The
Thank
unexpected
you.
thing going to hit you
Thank you.
that you wasn't anticipating or looking
Right.
for, didn't even ask for, didn't want.
Exactly.
It's going to show up at your doorstep,
Yeah.
on your face. You have to deal with it. So because of that, my desire always is, God, this is your day. You already know what's coming up.
Yes,
you know, you already know what's down the road. I don't know. You didn't forewarn me, none of that. But make me ready
Yeah.
for whatever you bring my way today.
Yeah.
I want to be ready to be able to get an answer or to be able to respond by the Spirit and not in the flesh.
Yes.
Not in the flesh. And that's another reason why I say it's difficult for a lot of folks to get on my nerve, because I don't receive it like that.
Right.
Thank God he enabled me to be able to look beyond flesh and blood and begin to discern what spirit this is that's speaking
Speaking.
or that's doing
Right.
whatever it's doing, and never condemn the person
Right.
that's doing it.
Right.
Because you may not have a clue what you're doing. It's like what Jesus said,
Exactly.
because Father forgive for no,
Yes.
you don't know who.
That's
You don't know.
Because sometimes they don't know.
You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue. You're just
Yeah.
speaking what came to your mind to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it wasn't given to you.
Right.
Oh, you didn't come up with that.
Yeah.
You died, Jesus told Peter. You know, flesh and blood didn't reveal this to you, but my Father. You didn't come up with that on your own. And when you turn right around and said, you know, telling Jesus not sober, going to the cross, and Jesus said, "Get behind me, Satan."
Right.
You didn't come with that one either.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, you didn't come with either one of them. So, but you have to be discerning to be able to recognize that
You do.
and be able to go forth and move by the Spirit of God to get beyond all these things
Right.
and really walk the way He tells us to walk. He said, "First John, we're to walk even as He also walked."
Right.
So to be able to do that, it takes good spiritual discernment.
It
Good
does.
spiritual discernment. Now, we was having a discussion on Friday night.
Yeah. How'd it go Friday? I missed Friday.
It was fine. It was great. We had a nice discussion. And we were just talking about, one of the part of the discussion was about what happened to an individual or anybody. All your part can identify with this. The emotion, the excitement, you already referenced it. The zeal, seemingly, the desire for God that you had when you first got saved. Couldn't put the Bible down.
Right.
Couldn't tell enough people about you. Want to grab everybody that you see, tell them about this great new love you have found, this new relationship that you have been introduced to, and now that you're 30 years down the road, however long you've been saved, that type of zeal, that type of burning, that type of desire, that type of searching or whatever has seemed to have gone. What happened?
Yeah.
And now I said the word says the fart should never go out. So what happened? Where did it go? It didn't go out. It went somewhere.
Right.
Because I don't feel the way. I'm not responding. I'm not reacting the way I was back in those days.
Right.
Now,
Wow.
well, my answer is and was because you're at a different place in God in the first place. That was a necessary thing in the beginning.
Okay.
I know for me, and probably for most of us, and not all of us, that song that said, "You would have been there when the Lord saved me. You would have been there when He set me free."
Right.
You know, that place was an awesome place. And how else is Matthew 11:28 going to come to pass in your life? You don't do what He said when He says, "Come unto me, all your labor, heavy laden, and give you rest.
Right.
Take my yoke upon you and learn of me."
Right.
Now that we've got past that initial shock, the initial birth, just like a child being born, you don't stay the same age, you don't stay the same place.
No.
You don't play with toys.
You
Paul
don't.
said, "I came in, man, I put away childish
Right.
things."
Yeah.
So you put away these things. We don't want to necessarily call them childish, but they were exciting times.
Right.
But we have to grow up and grow in God. We have to learn about Him. So now that we've been saved for this amount of time, growth is supposed to be and is taking place. So you don't do the same thing. The same things are not required. anymore. You have to grow up. You have to have some understanding. You don't automatically have understanding,
Right.
right?
takes
Proverbs said,
time.
but you get understanding. Wisdom is
Right.
the principal thing. Don't forget wisdom. All I get understanding. It takes time to get and understand. You have to ask questions
Yeah.
to get an understanding.
Is that like going into different seasons?
Yes. Yes, it's like going into different seasons.
Right.
It's like, yes, it's like that, going into different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what it is. You go into a different season of growth, different season of understanding. You don't get saved and be pastor.
Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. It takes time.
You don't get saved and be whatever the ministry is going to be that God's going to place you in. It takes time for that to develop. It takes time for you to know what that is. You just sit down and learn, like I already quoted, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. You sit down and learn what your gifts is, what your talent is, what God desires of you, how He wants to move you. So He's not going to, and He hasn't taken everything from us.
Right.
In fact, if He did, we wouldn't have no fiery trial, which is to try you. Right? There's some strange thing happened to you. What are fiery trials? Because you need to learn some stuff
Yeah.
from those trials. They come to make you strong. They come to bring us to an understanding
Exactly.
of what God is doing, what He has done. And we're able to, because of our experiences, our encounters, we're at a place where we can help someone else who's going through the same thing. So when the scripture says, comfort others with the comfort word, you've been confident of God. You have to have gone through it yourself
Right.
in order to be able to comfort somebody else when they are going through something.
Exactly.
That's the only way you can do it. You say, man, I remember when I was there. I remember when I had that experience, and this is how the Lord brought me through,
Right.
or whatever you want to share with them to help them beyond a bad place, a difficult place in life. So that's why the change takes place. And I don't know that it's a bad thing to go back and say, wow, man, I remember when, it was so on fire. I was so much doing that. Now, where did it go?
Right.
I can say that for myself. I used to have a lot of bad habits. When I first began to devour the word, like that stayed in scripture all day, all night. I mean, I couldn't get enough of God's
Right,
word in that
yeah.
sense. Especially when I was teaching in Sunday school. I loved teaching the young people doing Sunday school because I learned so much from being responsible for teaching them.
Exactly.
That I had to know.
Because you had to know, right?
I had to know.
Yeah.
So I had to spend time in the
Exactly.
scripture. I had to know all the books of the Bible, know how to quote them backward and forward, know how to do all them games we used to play.
Right.
It made it fun to learn all that kind of stuff. And then I got into a bad place where I had I used to have this habit. I'm listening to a preacher, and every time he would misquote a scripture or say something out of place, I would know it. And I
And
can't
you
even
quote
hear
it.
it. I can't even hear it. Wait a minute, see, you misquoted that Bible. That ain't what the scripture say. And now I find myself not remembering all the scripture. I'm saying, oh, wait a minute, now who out there doing me like that? Who out there critiquing me?
Yeah.
In the scripture I'm misquoting or can't remember what it says or where it's at.
Right.
Because at the time I know you don't start quoting because I know the rest of it and where's exactly what it says.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now I can't even touch that like I used to be able to do. Can't do it. Can't do it because it's a different season and a different time.
I have
And
a
it's over. Go ahead.
Now we're talking about saints being in situations, and when they know that it's not right,
Right.
but it's like it's almost like they can't pull themselves out of
They're
it.
caught up. Yeah.
They're caught up in it, and they know it's wrong. They know
Right.
it's not right.
Right.
It's like it's something that keeps them there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, because there are those that are like in situations and they immediately go, this is not right. I can't do this,
Right.
and they can get out of it.
Right.
They can straighten it up what they need to do. And
Right.
then there are those that don't. But I think sometimes those are the ones to me that God really want to use, because you said something earlier about so they can. I've been through this, so I can tell you about what tell you about it, or tell you how God brought me out of it, or whatever.
Right.
And I think sometimes those situations, I think God, I'm not saying He's agreeing with it, but I think He's using them sometimes to go through that and deal with that, so they can help somebody else out of that hopeless situation that
Right.
they think they're in,
Right.
or they can't get out of it.
Right. you mean your experience becomes someone else's deliverance
Right.
of a
Exactly.
sort
Yeah.
because you've been there
Exactly.
and you lived through that, or or God brought you out. Now you use that. Well, you hear that all the time in a lot of
Yeah.
ministry,
You do.
especially in conferences or like a marriage counseling
Yeah.
or whatever. You hear a lot of folks who are just bold enough to tell you what they've been through
Right.
and how they messed it up
Yes.
and how God brought them out and they're able to help other folks to
Right.
be able to say, hey, I'm at the
Right.
same place.
Exactly.
And I need out too.
Right.
And so, not that God's going to bring you out the exact same way, but you do know there is a way out.
There's a way out. Yeah.
You don't have to remain where you are.
Exactly.
You don't have to continue to be
Yes.
in bondage
Yes.
to whatever it is that's tripping you up and got you where you are.
Right.
But initially, when you start to talk about that place, you're going to talk about the desires of the flesh, the lust
Yeah.
of the flesh. Well, that's
Yeah.
all it is. That's
And that's
main.
all it is.
That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
it's something in your flesh that your flesh is warring with and don't want to let go.
Exactly.
And it's trying to convince you that it's okay to do it. Or
Right.
even, like you said, even if you know you're wrong and you know you need out of it, you can't seem to find a way out of it. Go
Right.
back to Romans 7.
Yeah.
Paul was talking good that he would, he do not. What he want to do, he don't do. That sort of place.
Right.
Right.
But it takes sticking with God. It takes a want to and a desire to come from that place.
Yeah.
And God
It
can
does.
and will deliver you
Yes, He
and bring
will.
you out if you want out. And it's God to give you, as the scripture says, both the will and to do
Right.
of His good pleasure. But that warfare is real. I mean,
Yes,
it's,
it
just,
is.
it's super real. I mean, it's just real. It's just more than real.
Yeah.
It's happening, gonna happen, and will continue to happen until we get out of here.
Yeah.
So we're not walking in our glorified bodies yet.
Yeah.
We have a
Makes
building not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Go ahead,
Yes.
Jen.
I was just going to say, this conversation was just bringing me back to our gathering yesterday, and we talked about seeking God
Mm-hmm.
about everything,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and because so often in our busyness, in our minds especially, we may not seek Him. We just go and make a decision about something, and do it, and so we have to be careful and take time to seek Him.
Right.
And us going through the different scriptures yesterday about when to seek Him, how to seek Him, the different ones, that was powerful for me.
Oh yeah.
The main thing is to seek Him, and the one that really sticks with me is seek ye first
Okay.
the kingdom and His righteousness.
Right.
And all these things are
We
added.
added unto
Right.
yes. And so I look at that part where it says, seek ye first the kingdom, and it says, and don't forget His righteousness.
Right.
So we have to know what His righteousness is. And so that'll cause you to go deeper. But the main thing I'm just looking at is we have to seek Him. Lord, what do you want me to say now? You're there for people. I hear you talking about what you have and how you want to help people. So I thought, okay, that sounds like the gift of helps and what you do for people. But knowing that, you definitely have to seek. It's everything. You have to seek God about everything, and that's just cut and dry right there.
Exactly.
Everything that we say and do and think. Well, say and think.
Now my question is, if you said it to somebody, what is the kingdom?
Mhm.
To seek. Well, how's it go?
Seek
now?
ye first.
ye
But
first.
seek ye first the kingdom of God and His
So what is the
righteousness.
kingdom of God?
And all these things shall be added unto you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, one thing is peace, joy,
Joy,
and the Holy Ghost.
happiness. Yeah.
But beyond that, the kingdom. The next verse when it says, "And His righteousness is what's right in God's eyes."
Right.
That's you seek God for what's right in His eyes.
Right.
And God has given us a conscience.
Yes, He has.
He had made us very well aware of right and
Oh,
wrong.
yes.
It don't take much for us to say that's
Yes.
wrong, and it don't take much.
Exactly.
It don't take all that nothing. We're able to discern right and wrong quickly.
Quickly, yeah.
If we want to know the answer.
Exactly.
If you want to do right,
Right.
you can feel right.
Mhm.
You can feel what's right.
Yes.
If you want to do wrong, you're in instant warfare.
Exactly. And you are.
You have to quench the spirit
Yes.
Yes.
to override that conscience that's telling you not to do that. And all that quenching and grieving is the flesh that's doing the quenching
Right.
and the
Right.
grieving.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because the flesh wants what it wants.
Yes.
It wants it. It's just that simple.
It is.
See? And so we have to bring the flesh, beat the body, as Paul said, bring it in submission and subjection to the truth of God's word.
Right.
And that's a battle.
Yeah.
That's a real,
Oh,
real,
yes, it
real
is.
serious battle when the flesh
Yes.
wants something.
Yeah.
It wants it.
And you know, you hear the Spirit in you. You feel the grieving of the Holy Spirit. You know the mind of Christ. When it says, when you just quote it, and His righteousness,
Righteousness.
and I like to say it like that, like this, that which is right in God's eye. That's
Right,
His
right.
righteousness.
Yeah.
And you know what's right in God's eye because we got His Spirit.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's given us of His Spirit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't not know what God's thinking because He got His Spirit. The Spirit of truth is in us. If you got the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth is in you. And it's very convicting to walk against that truth that God's revealing to any of us. And this is why that's good to do what I like doing, and I do it to myself too, is call people into a thought process that says, you know, I know you can feel this that you're doing is grievous
Right.
to God. Now, your flesh may want to do it, and you may go ahead on and do it anyway because your flesh just says, we're doing this right now. But at the end of the day, you know you just step outside of that which is right.
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 You know, you step outside of seeking first the kingdom.
Right.
Because the kingdom wouldn't lead you there,
Right.
Exactly.
you know. Now, the kingdom may lead you into a place, but the kingdom leading you to that place for the kingdom's sake.
Right.
One example, Jesus going with the sinners and the publicans and doing what He did with those folks, He was seeking the kingdom.
Right.
He was in the will of God.
Yes, he was.
Because his mindset was in the kingdom
Right.
and in the will of God. He wasn't out there like the Pharisees and Sadducees accused him of being a sinner, being a friend of sinners. He's supposed to be a friend of sinners. That's what we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But you're not defriending them and going and do what they do.
Exactly.
You're not parting with them. You're not doing what they do.
Right.
But you're friend enough to them to be able to bring them out of where they are, to give them something to think about. Because that same sense of truth is in everybody. Because God gave us a conscience,
Exactly.
and we know.
Right.
We know. We know. We can crunch it all we want. We can grieve all we want. But the bottom line is, you know,
Right.
and God had made it clear that everybody knows.
Right.
You know. But again, I say, and I know this from my own personal experience, I argue myself sometimes when God is telling you the righteous thing to do, and your flesh don't want to do the righteous thing.
Exactly. It don't.
Because whatever the reason might be, it just do not want to
I
do
know, it's like,
the
I
righteous
don't.
thing.
No, it's like that.
Because, I mean, okay,
Yeah.
God, I mean, you know, it's like, and then He come back and say, let him deny himself. And you say, no, God, I can't deny myself.
Yeah.
Take up your cross. If any man will come after me,
Yeah.
let him deny himself.
Yeah.
Take up your cross and follow me. And we say, oh no, God, I mean, I hear you, but I can't deny myself this thing right now. And then God, and then it's all in the Word. It was so powerful. But this is all God gave every kind of example He could in the Scripture
Yeah.
about how those who didn't, you know,
You're
didn't
right.
deny themselves.
Right.
When He told them, you know, to come follow Him. And one said, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I got to go bury my father. He said, let the dead bury the dead.
Yeah.
You know,
Dead bury the dead.
I just bought a field. I got to go tend my field. You know, all that stuff, all that fleshly, worldly
All
stuff
kinds
that
of excuses. Yeah.
all the excuses that you're making,
Yeah.
but not going after the kingdom first.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and so we have to reckon ourselves to be dead, indeed dead unto sin, but alive unto God. And so you can see why, even having this bit of a conversation, you can see why you don't stay bubbly.
Exactly.
You know,
No,
yeah.
and run around trying to tell everybody about Jesus and being saved.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you're into.
Yeah.
You don't have a clue what you just got yourself into, what God brought you into,
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah.
You don't have a clue what He brought you into. Now you're learning of Him.
And because now you know.
Now you're learning. You'll
Yeah.
find out, wait a
Yeah.
minute, it ain't all about knowing how to quote Bible verses. And remember not telling about it, you must be saved,
Yeah.
or don't you want to be born again?
Yeah.
No. Being born again is going to cost you your life. It's going to cost you your life. You're going to give up your life.
Yes.
You're going to be
Yes.
dead.
Yes.
Yeah. So you sure you want to do this?
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to do it. And they don't.
And they don't.
And they
know.
can't do it anyway, our problems are. Because God don't bring you out, you ain't coming out. That's just a powerful truth.
That's true.
We was in this,
And he know the struggles.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, you know, the struggle, and he's able to.
Struggle.
That's why I love the reality of what I said earlier, that I love that the fact that God has enabled me to be able to not to judge nobody or nothing before it's time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because loss is lost.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't. If you dead, you dead. I don't care what you doing.
Right.
You know,
That's right.
Exactly.
you ain't doing nothing as a dead person,
You're right.
and so you can't help.
Mm-hmm.
You can't change.
You're right.
You can't change your state.
You can.
So yesterday, for an example, and I was trying, I couldn't find it on my phone. I was looking for a while ago. I didn't have it on this phone. I need to condense everything, get everything on one phone, one app. So there's a lot of stuff I see that's very interesting, very powerful on the WhatsApp app. I love it. People send me stuff all the time, and it's just awesome to me. But when we was at the funeral this week, Friday past, it was at a Catholic church, Catholic service, and it was 100% Catholic. What do you call it? Catholic
Congregation?
doctrine, no, Catholic way of doing
Oh, yeah,
things.
yeah.
You know, it was a Catholic church and everything. Everybody was Catholic.
Okay.
And I was sitting by a guy. Y'all know my uncle's name now. But I was sitting by this guy, and typically I'm quiet. I'm respectful in church. I don't. I personally try to respect where I'm at.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hold conversation. You know, I just try to be a part of
Right.
what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But this gentleman was sitting beside me. He talked the entire service.
He was talking to you, Larry.
Talking to me, sitting beside me. Critiquing, critical of everything that the Catholics were doing. He knew what they was going to do before they do it. I do too. I've been enough to know
Right.
the formula. I know how they do.
Exactly.
He said what the priest going to say before the priest said it.
Oh, Lord.
He was just so livid. He was so upset about it because he said one thing happened to him. He had an opportunity to minister at a church, sing, because he sings and stuff. And someone invited him and another cousin of mine to minister at a church. It was a Catholic service, and they sang whatever they were singing. The family asked them to sing this particular song and do this particular rendition or whatever they did. And they did it, and everybody was excited about it. The church was excited about it. Well, the priest got up and said, "That's the worst thing he ever heard in church." He said, "You did not follow Catholic protocol. We don't do that here." So you know,
Wow.
wow, wow,
Wow.
so, wow. But and he was real upset about it. Well, he may have been past being upset, but he was just basically sharing how foolish that was. You know, and how foolish, I guess, a word for me to use here, that he was discerning or seeing what they were going, the things they were saying, things they were doing. And I tried to enlighten him. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You lost. You expect lost people to do lost things.
Exactly. That's true.
Don't expect them to do
Right.
different. You just pray for them.
You do.
Because I was lost.
Right.
I was lost as could be. I
Exactly.
wasn't Catholic, but I was Methodist. I was
Thank
just
you.
as lost as could be.
Yes.
I mean, I knew I was right in my mind.
Right.
In my estimation, I was in church. I was
Right.
doing all the right things. So ain't nothing wrong with me.
Right.
I'm good. And I was lost. And so I thank
Understand.
God that He has made it very clear to me.
Right.
Don't judge nobody
Right,
Yeah.
for
right.
where they are.
Yeah.
They lost. And when I'm ready to bring them out, if I chose to bring them up, they coming up out
There
of
you
there.
go. Yes,
When I call that name, when I speak, come forth, they coming forth.
Right.
So don't sweat that.
Right.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get the idea because you're right now that you got a leg up on somebody else and you can go
Exactly.
criticize somebody else
Yeah.
because they ain't right.
Right.
No, you better love them folks and pray for them folks and
Exactly.
ask God for have mercy
Yes.
Right.
on them the way He had mercy on you,
Right.
the way He had mercy on me. Say, God, please, you can. I know you can bring them out.
Right.
And if you got a word from me or for me to say to them, don't let me miss it when it's my time
Exactly.
to speak,
Right,
Yes.
right.
that you may bring forth fruit in season. I don't mind planting, I don't mind watering. That's
Right.
fine.
Right.
That's fine. But let me be wise enough not to be so condemning of those who are so lost.
Right.
And I don't care how lost you are, dead is dead.
It
Yeah.
is.
You can
Yeah.
be close to the kingdom, but you ain't in the kingdom.
You ain't in the right.
It doesn't matter how close you are.
Yes.
Close don't get it.
Exactly.
You gotta
That's
be
right,
in the
in it,
kingdom,
yes.
not close to it.
Right.
All right. No, close don't work.
Oh, I see it. It's over that hill right there. You see it right there?
No, close
Yes.
don't get you in.
Yeah.
No, almost made it, don't get it.
Exactly.
You gotta make it.
Almost right. You gotta
No,
make it in.
you gotta make it in. So
Yes.
you gotta
Oh, I
understand that.
almost did it.
Yeah. So, and it's just great to walk with that,
Yeah.
the realism
Yeah.
and reality
Right.
in your heart and your mind, because
It is.
you don't know what God can do for anybody.
You
Right.
You
don't.
can't judge
really
another man's
don't.
servant.
Nope.
You really can't speak to it at all. You just have to just thank God Almighty
Exactly.
that He has chosen you or and me
Yes.
before the foundation of the world, that we should be in Christ,
Exactly.
and we will not suffer the wrath to come.
Because for one thing, we don't have the mind of God, and we don't know what God is doing
Right.
in that person or through that person,
Right.
or why they're where they are.
No idea.
You know,
They weren't created for our good pleasure. They were
Exactly.
created for His good pleasure.
Exactly. You know, so
Yes.
when he's ready to bring them out, he'll bring them out, like
Yeah.
we've already said.
Yeah.
You know, and if not, then hey.
If not, can't anybody reply against God and say,
Right.
why you made me this and why you made me that? No,
Exactly.
you can't speak. You can't talk to God like that. And
You're right.
feel like, no, he didn't think you. He ain't saying he had done me some wrong song. No, he didn't.
Right.
He done did you.
Right.
He did
Exactly.
you wrong.
Nothing.
You know, no.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
But it's just so
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, this is
It is
why I
awesome.
sing
It is.
all day long. Why I sing praises. Let
Yes.
the top sound and praise of God be continued in my mouth, because I am so elated,
Yes.
so grateful, so so beside myself in knowing
Yes.
that, man, God, you saved me,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's a whole lot that I can see that's wrong with me, in my opinion, but I'm complete in you,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and whatever's wrong with me, you already know about it, you knew about it, you've made promises to me, all kind of them. You have completed a good work. You have started a good work. You're gonna complete it.
Yes.
You're able to keep me from falling and present me faultless
Yes.
before His presence with exceeding great joy. Come on, man. You got to rejoice with that, with a word like that. And
Yes.
inside you say, oh my God, so I
Wow.
continued on what I'm doing or not doing or how I miss it or don't miss it. That's not it. It's not. He's able to keep.
Keep you, yes.
He's able to keep. He is the keeper.
Teach you
Of our soul.
He
He is a
surely
keeper.
Because
He
that's
is a
what it
keeper.
says in Philippians
Yeah.
1:6. Being confident
Mhm.
of this
Very
very
thing.
thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it
Until
until the day of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Yes. Glory, glory, glory. Ha. Yes,
That's see, it's word like that and other scriptures that I go to, and I'm sure a lot of people do. I mean, you go to in the midst of any kind of storm and be able to just bring up that word and say, you know what, God, this is all on you, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm not trying to come up short. I ain't deliberately doing nothing wrong against you.
Right.
I hear you say, seek first the kingdom and that which is right, or do the right thing,
Right.
Yes.
and everything you need will be added to you.
Yes.
Just do right.
Do right.
Just do
the
me.
right
Just
thing, yes.
yeah, just do me. Just
Yes.
listen and listen and pay attention
Right.
Yes.
to what I'm saying for you to do, and do it. Do it now.
Yeah.
And, I'll see you through.
And he will.
Yes.
So great peace as they that love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Nothing.
Good.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Jesus.
This stuff here.